My name is John Newhard, and I love food.
I've spent over 25 years studying food and working as a professional chef. During that time, I've traveled across the country and around the world. One thing I've discovered is that a lot of my favorite food comes from right here, where I call home. Come with me now as I visit some of the farms and meet some of the people who help grow and produce this great food. We'll see why what they do is so special and unique. Then I'll take some of their fantastic products back to my kitchen and show you some recipes that you can make in your own home. I'm so excited to share with you what it is that makes me a Vermont foodie.
Hi, and welcome to Vermont Foodie. Today we are in Bakersfield at the Fin and Roots Farm, and we're talking with Holly, the owner, who's going to tell us a little bit about how she got here and what she does. Hi, Holly. Welcome to Vermont Foodie.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
I'm really glad to have you here.
I'm glad that you're here.
Well, you're relatively a newcomer to Fin and Roots into the state of Vermont. You've only been here for about a year. Why don't you tell us about, how you got to this place in your life?
Okay. So I was looking for a dream, and it was about a year ago, July 27th. We lived in Evergreen, Colorado, and I was sitting on the couch looking for our future, what we were going to do and where we were going to live, and something special. The first broker website that I went to for businesses, the third listing on the page was for sale, Echo Farm in Vermont. And it had the most amazing pictures and the most incredible description. And John, it just grabbed my heart and I fell in love instantly. And my birthday is August 11th, and very close to my birthday, one morning I literally woke up and thought to myself and nearly said out loud, why not? Like, this is your dream, that you think this is what you were meant to do and you need to do this. And that's what I did. And my family joined me, and we worked with the founders of Fin and Roots, and amazingly, it came together in just a couple of months. And by October 7th, we had moved here, moved in, and we're transitioning between the previous owners and ourselves, and it was a dream come true.
So, Fin and Roots, you grow things in a pretty unusual and a really remarkable way. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so we grow some specialty lettuce heads. We call them green oaks. We package those live for folks. We also do what we call a Vermont artisan blend, which is about 7 or 8 different varieties of lettuces that we harvest up, blend into a bag, and then provide to people as an artisan blend. We do 2 varieties of cucumbers, and we also do a live basil and a cut basil. One of the really wondrous things about Fin and Roots, and in particular what we call the Echo Arc, is that we have the capacity and the ability to grow so many different kinds of things. And we grow year-round in a northern Vermont environment, 52 weeks of the year. We are just so excited about the potential that the future has for us, because we have a lot of capability with the Echo Arc.
So the Echo Arc uses an aquaponic system, which is really, it's different. It's not what people think of when they picture farm. So tell me, how does the aquaponic system work?
All right, so with aquaponics, you have a fish side and you have a water-based soilless growing side, hydroponics, aquaculture and hydroponics. The beautiful thing is it's a very symbiotic relationship between the water that's circulated through the fish tanks and the nutrient or fertilizer that's created from that water, the filtration that we do, and then we pipe that right into our tables, our hydroponic tables, and that's what feeds our plants. And our plants are amazing. They are so happy. They get great sunlight. We're a passive solar greenhouse, so the combination of the different great environmental things, even though we're doing it year-round, makes for really happy and really awesome growing. It's more nutritious. It lasts longer. There's so many good things to doing things aquaponically.
So if somebody's watching this and they want to get a hold of some Finnan Roots greens, where are places they can go to get that?
We're really fortunate. We have the most amazing partners. We do mostly markets in Burlington. So Healthy Living, both city markets, downtown and the South Store. We sell at a small market in Shelburne Market. We sell to Sweet Clover, that's in Essex. We sell at Rail City in St. Albans and Wood Meadow in Enosburg. Right. And then we do occasionally do sales here. You just have to get in touch with me.
Well, part of the deal is I am psyched to get some great greens from you and take them home and demonstrate a recipe. Can you describe a little bit what you're going to give me today?
Yes, so we're really excited. Today we're going to do a chef's table for you. Wow. That's a box of our artisan blend lettuce heads. We harvest them live for you. So we pull them right off the hydroponic table. We clean up their roots. We clean up their bottoms a little bit, and then we collect them into a box that looks like a really beautiful bouquet of lettuce. And what's awesome about doing it live, we would love to do everything live, honestly, is that there's more nutrition. It stays fresh much longer. They're beautiful to look at. You can just pick off what you need and do whatever you want with, and they're just pretty much amazing.
Wow. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, you get to try.
I can't wait to try and learn how to do this. Yeah. Great. Well, why don't we go take a look?
All right, sounds good.
All right. Well, earlier you told me all about the chef's table, a bouquet of lettuce that you're going to send back to the kitchen with me today.
Yep.
So you're going to teach me how to harvest this, huh?
I am. So we're going to harvest this live. What we do is grab from underneath.
Okay.
Just take a couple of fingers. You can spock it, or you can just do that. And you pull it right out of the channel just like that.
Oh, there's a lot of roots under there.
There's a lot of roots. So then what you do is you give it just a real gentle squeeze. And you come along and you just trim the bottom of those roots off like that. And then turn it over and clean it up. So take the stuff that's a little sad because it's hot. Take it like that, and then we'll just tuck it into our box, like so.
All right, here I go. Ready? Bear with me.
Go for it!
So I'm going underneath.
Yep.
Super gentle.
Yep.
Pull
it right out.
Feels like they're tearing in the...
That'll be all right. They're pretty hardy.
There we go. And upside down.
Turn. Yep. Take your roots right about there. Perfect.
And then looking for any dead leaves underneath.
Gently turn it.
Which it's very, very it's verdant and full of life. There's a dirty one here, but that's about it. It's really quite great.
Give it just a little shake, and then we'll tuck it in here. Excellent. And you can start to see how the bouquet is going to come together.
So,
all right, there we go.
Did I do okay?
Yeah, you did great.
All right, so let's get some variety and texture then. We'll go over here next.
So we try to use a lot of color in our choice of lettuce varieties. And in the sun, you can see where they get really vibrant and beautiful.
It really shines through. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
There we go. In.
Go right back for some more.
Yep. So this is how we harvest those green oaks I was talking about.
Wow.
All of the green oaks. We have a whole table of green oaks.
And you sell them all with a little bit of root attached?
And we sell them live with the roots attached.
And how long will that help these stay fresh for?
We've heard reports from really excited customers that they will last up to a month in the refrigerator.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. And as I said, they have a higher nutritional value. They stay firmer.
That is just beautiful.
Yeah, as I said before, we'd also like to do a lot more live because, there's such great benefit. The summer sun is amazing. That and the fish water. The nutrient it gets from the fish water.
They really do look like oaklings too.
They're so beautiful.
Making people to remember what it is.
Yeah. All right, there we go. So come over and take a look at this. And you can kind of see what we mean by a bouquet.
Wow, fantastic.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today.
My pleasure.
It's really been a great experience just to see it all and learn how it's done, and to hear that, you know, not only are you doing this great thing, but you're chasing your dream at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's special.
Thank you, John.
So, thank you for
we
having
think
us.
so too. Thank you.
Well, what a morning we had. We went out to Finn and Roots in Bakersfield and we got to meet Holly and see that really unique farm. And what a joy, this beautiful array of lettuce she sent me back home here to my kitchen with, to my own private island. She spoke very much about the chef's bouquet box and the floral bouquet of beautiful varieties of lettuce all packaged together. And that really put in my head the idea for the recipe that I want to share with you with Holly's lettuce today. What we're going to do is we're going to do a composed salad that's made out of an entire head of red oak leaf lettuce. We're going to just snip the roots off, and we're going to cut some vegetables to look pretty, kind of sticking up out of the head of lettuce, and arrange it just like a florist would arrange flowers. Only we're going to be using vegetables and some beautiful lettuce, and we'll top it all off with a little bit of wonderful grated cheese. So we're going to start by talking about the salad dressing, which will drizzle over the whole thing when it's all done at the end. I like to teach technique before I like to teach recipe. And the reason that is, if I teach you a recipe, then you only know how to make one thing. But if I teach you a technique, you learn a process that you can apply to many different ingredients and make a whole world of different things that you might enjoy. So today's technique is going to be the vinaigrette. This is northwestern Vermont. We love our maple syrup, and we love maple balsamic vinaigrette. So I thought this would be the perfect time to share my maple balsamic vinaigrette recipe with all of you. You can take different vinegars and different seasonings, and as long as you follow the same process, you can make Italian dressing, you can make Greek dressing, you can make a honey mustard dressing. You use the same method, you just change the ingredients. Our ingredients today are maple balsamic, so let's get started. We're only going to make this much, a little goes a long way, and we're going to start by adding our basic flavorings. So I've got a couple cloves of garlic right here, very easy to peel. You just give it a little press until it cracks under your hand, and then you can easily remove the papery skin from the outside, like so. And we're going to drop it right down into our jar. We don't have to worry about chopping, so we're going to use a blender. That's going to do all the work for us. So 2 cloves of garlic, because I like quite a bit of garlic. If you don't like garlic, don't use any at all. If you don't like a lot of garlic, just use 1. Like I like to say, it's the technique, not the recipe. So we've got our garlic. Now the next thing we're going to add is some Dijon mustard. The Dijon mustard plays an important role in a vinaigrette. It allows the vinaigrette to emulsify. What that means is it's going to form one uniform liquid when we're all done putting it together. If you don't add an emulsifier, like Dijon, honey is another great example of an emulsifier, your vinaigrette's going to separate into the oil and the vinegar when you're done. That's not necessarily a problem. In a container like this, you screw the lid on and shake it and you're good to go again. But I wanted to share with you the concept of an emulsifier in a vinaigrette. So we're going to add just a little bit. We don't want this to taste like Dijon. We just want the mustard to hold our emulsification together. Then our next flavoring component, we've got balsamic vinegar. This is a pretty fancy one that I enjoy. You don't have to have a fancy balsamic vinegar. It just happens to be what I have on hand right now. So a pretty good slug of that. And of course, our maple syrup. And once again, a nice big slug. You want to add equal to or greater than the amount of balsamic vinegar. Like so. So the last ingredient we're going to add is going to be extra virgin olive oil. But the way to achieve that proper emulsification in making a vinaigrette, like I've been speaking about, is to first blend all of these other flavoring ingredients together. So we're going to do that by very delicately placing our immersion blender in. It's called an immersion blender because it is designed to be immersed into all the ingredients. You don't want to have an explosion of balsamic vinegar, so make sure your blender is all the way submerged. Then we're going to give it just a couple little pulses to get going. And you can see everything's getting incorporated together. The blender is chopping the garlic for us. So as you see, everything's coming together very nicely. You can see the liquid starting to spin, which means we're ready to incorporate our oil. Now to incorporate the oil, I want to leave the blender running and pour a slow, steady stream. That's going to give the liquid time to incorporate. It's a strong blender. You can see that the oil is separating a little bit, and that's because my blender is just so strong that it's sucking everything to the bottom. So I'm just going to lift it up carefully so as not to spill. And that's really all there is to it. Maple balsamic vinaigrette. Now another thing that we're going to do right now, which I would always encourage you to do when you're cooking at home, is have a taste along the way. We've just finished making the salad dressing. Now note that we did not put any salt or pepper in. We're going to do that first. Then we're going to just have a dab to make sure it's exactly the way we want it. So, a couple cracks of black pepper. I like mine super coarse because as I'm going through my meal, I like to crunch down on a nice crunchy bit of pepper. And some great coarse sea salts. Get all that mixed in nicely. Everything that I would expect in a maple balsamic vinaigrette is there. There is a sweetness from the maple and a sweetness from the balsamic. So now we're going to move on to doing our floral bouquet salad. We'll set this aside until we're ready to use it. And we're going to arrange this salad right in the bowl, just like we would arrange a bouquet of flowers. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with the lettuce, and I'm going to get that positioned in my bowl how I think it will look the best when I serve it to my guests or my family or my friends. So if you remember, when we were harvesting this lettuce at the farm, we left the roots on. Reason being that it could survive for quite a long time this way. Obviously, we don't want to eat that. So really the only cut I'm going to do to the lettuce is to just trim this root section right off. Just like we did when we were at Fin and Roots with Holly. I'm going to flip it over and look for any leaves that are wilty or pale. Even down here. And we've got a couple little wilty ones that we're going to get rid of, but everything really held up quite nicely. So next, we'll save these. Put them in our bowl. And if you turn this around and look at it, clearly the lettuce was kind of growing up this direction. So I want that to be prominent for the top. So what I'm going to do is we'll put our bowl like this. And I'm going to nestle that in, consciously choosing this is up and that is the forward. If I were to serve this, I would give it to you like that. So we've got the main body of our bouquet ready to go. Now we need to cut our garnish, our beautiful vegetable, right? So I've chosen cucumbers, a red bell pepper, some small cherry tomatoes that came from our friend Nancy at Windfall Beef and Veggies, and one of her beautiful little red onions to make the salad complete. We'll start with our pepper. I think what I really want to do with the pepper is I want to cut as long shapes as I can so that I can nestle them down into the leaves of the lettuce and still have them pop up and be visible as an ingredient of our bouquet of salad. So what I'm going to do is start on the sides of the pepper and cut down. Now, if there are any little seeds that are extra, I'm just going to tap them off. And if there's any of the white pith attached, I'm just going to pull that out with my fingers. So we've got our peppers in basically rectangular shapes. And I think I like the idea of long, skinny triangles. So I'm simply going to take my pepper and start as if one end were a flat end of a triangle and go back and forth as such this way. Remember, a pepper will have the shape that it just occurs naturally in its genes out in the nature, in the garden where it's growing. So you're going to have to work with the pepper. Don't focus too hard on bending it to your will. Use those natural curves to your advantage. Voila. Now this is even more than we're going to need. We could take time and pick and choose what we like, or we could begin arranging. I think what we'll do first is we'll put them right in. So I'm sort of finding where the lettuce leaves separate on their own, snuggling these peppers right in. We'll put a couple in front just so everybody can see that they're there in case the other ones get hidden within. And really take just a moment to arrange just like you would in a bouquet. We can even throw some extras in the back. Beautiful. Next, we're going to do the same principle as we did with the peppers, but we're going to use a cucumber. So I'm going to remove the bud, the flower end of the cucumber. And I'm going to make, let's go pretty long strips. And from those strips, we'll follow the curve and trying to go kitty corner, if you're trying to imagine this as a slightly curved rectangle, so that we wind up with a curved piece like such. It's going to look beautiful in our salad. Now these inside pieces that are a little seedier are a little flimsy and floppy. They might flop around on us, but we'll work with that when we put our salad together. And there we have our cucumber. Just like before, we're going to go through, nestle these guys right in, almost like they're taking a nap, or if you imagine yourself as a florist building a bouquet of flowers. And I think that's plenty for that. Next, we're going to add some smaller elements for garnish. So what we're going to do for our smaller elements is we're just going to cut the appropriate size and almost sprinkle them across the top. We'll use a little bit of determination in where we place things, specifically items that are maybe heavier so that they don't weigh everything down. But it's really intended to look as kind of a random pattern of color. So we have these beautiful cherry tomatoes, and I'm just going to cut them in half. And that's really more than enough. So once again, I'll start with the red. I want to have an even distribution of my colors and just place them all around as such. Then we'll add our yellow or orange cherry tomatoes. These are sunburst, I believe, like so. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to take this beautiful tiny little red onion and peel it. Then we'll cut some very small onion rings to sprinkle over the top. We're going to separate the rings. And do a very quick almost letting them fall where they may. With the natural beauty of the salad. And we're almost complete already. Next step, we're going to dress our salad. We went to all the trouble to arrange everything nicely. We don't want to have our salad swimming in the vinaigrette that we made. It's got great flavor, but we also want to make sure that we can taste these beautiful greens and vegetables. I'm just going to take a spoon and drizzle everything over. This is intended to be a nice light dish. It's nothing that's going to be super heavy and weigh us down. And very, very last, we've got this wonderful 11 Brothers Reserve cheese from Boston Post Dairy. This is the cheese that they save and age for a year. It's got a wonderful flavor. It's quite comparable to a really, really good Parmesan, though it's not quite. You've really got to taste it to see exactly what it is. Though in this application, using it like a freshly grated Parmesan would be fantastic. And so I've been saving it for just that. So we're going to just take our grater and right over the top. Beautiful. And that's all there is to it. A wonderfully composed salad made with red oak leaf lettuce from Finn & Roots. You could almost call it a whole head Finn & Roots oak leaf salad. You could call it a bouquet, as we arranged it much like a florist would. And it's ready to go. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're willing to try one on your own. Speaking of which, maybe I'll just have a little nibble before we go. Fantastic. Yes, I really hope you try doing something like this on your own. There's something about making your own food, making your own salad, making your own dressing. It brings a sense of pride in what you do, and it brings maybe, I'd even say, a fuller sense of enjoyment than just opening up a bottle from the store. So take the time to try it on your own at home, definitely. And thank you for watching Vermont Foodie.